Well, for more on the FIFA World Cup, we are joined by Egyptian sports analyst Marwan Saeed, who is in Cairo. Marwan, welcome to the program. Marwan, after all the controversies and debate about Qatar hosting the World Cup, kickoff is finally here. What do you expect from the tournament?
I think the World Cup is the World Cup, whether it's in Qatar, whether in any country at all. It remains a great spectacle, the biggest, most attractive spectacle in sports, not just in football. So I think Qatar have prepared well. They've spent over 220 billion US dollars on the infrastructure of the whole country, not just on the World Cup. So I think it should be ready and fit to host this World Cup, and I think will have a great spectacle on our hands.
Well, a lot has been said about this being the first World Cup in the Arab world. Will this be a factor favoring Morocco and Tunisia from Africa?
I think it should be a factor, well, not just favoring, but we're going to say about how they accommodate in the country. It won't be difficult for the Arab-speaking countries to go to Qatar and feel more like at home. Rather than go to countries in Europe where some players, for example, won't be able to speak the same languages or face different living circumstances. So I think in Qatar it should be more of a comfy place, if we're going to say that, so they won't feel so much out of their comfort zone, and that will help mentally for them to be ready for the challenges ahead, as these teams have very tough opponents in their group stages.
Marwan, overall, do you see African teams in the 2022 roster doing enough to justify the call for increasing the number of teams from the continent in future World Cups?
I think, it's a difficult situation to judge and say, look, if we add more teams from whichever continent, will the World Cup be better? But, there are many nations that haven't had the taste of playing in the World Cup, of the situation itself, and this can drastically improve the footballing level of many countries, whether in Africa, whether in America, South America, or even in Asia. When these countries get a taste of what it's like to play in the World Cup, when the football develops there so that the teams can reach the World Cup, the great spectacle, and they reap the benefits, I think it's a benefit for any continent in the world, not just Africa. So I believe that expanding the World Cup and having more teams from each continent, especially Africa, go to the World Cup, it will be beneficial on the long run for the countries themselves, for the national teams, and for the players.
And before we let you go, a quick one. Who do you back to win the 2022 World Cup, and which player will win the Golden Ball?
This is a difficult question. We have many teams on hand. I would have said 5 days ago or something that France have a good chance, but obviously they've been dealt blows with one of the centre backs, Kimpembe, is out, and now Christopher Nkunku as well is out, who's been having a standout season. So I think France do still have a chance, but obviously they will have to face big mentalities like Argentina, Brazil, and Germany. I personally would see or would expect Brazil to go far. I don't know about if they win it or not, but if I'm going to back a national team, I think it will be them. And for the Golden Ball, I think it's Lionel Messi's year. I really believe he's on form and he can do it this year.